Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. In this one I'll be showing you how to build a very efficient, very simple, and very cheap Wither Skull and Wither Skeleton and Wither Boss Beacon factory. Basically what this factory allows you to do is automatically kill the Wither Boss, and for every single Wither Boss that you kill, you will actually gain 4 Wither Skeleton Skulls out of it. So you actually gain Wither Skulls from using this farm. It's really quite incredible, and it's extremely cheap to set up. You can set this up within a couple days of a brand new world because it really doesn't take anything whatsoever, and this works in pure vanilla survival, of course. No additions, no add-ons, no mods, no nothing like that. So you're probably wondering exactly how this beacon factory works. Well, luckily for you, I'm going to explain it. There are 3 main areas. The first of which is the most important, is where we're going to be summoning all of our Wither bosses and where they're all going to be dying automatically, completely automatically. You will never need to lay a finger on a single one of these guys. As long as you don't log out or leave the area or have a game crash, all of these guys will suffocate in the blocks just fine, and they'll also drop the experience and the nether stars right there and the kill chamber for you to collect easily. Now, if you are playing on hard mode, which is pretty necessary for this factory to actually work, then as soon as those Wither bosses get down to half health, they will summon a set of 4 Wither Skeletons. Those guys are going to immediately drop out the bottom of the killer and go straight to the nether so they don't take any additional damage or die. We'll see those Wither Skeletons in just a minute. The second area is the smallest and also pretty simple as well, however it is the most hands-on, and that is the creeper collection and charge creeper creation area. That's kind of a mouthful, but it's really quite simple. Basically what you'll be doing is luring in some creepers, name tagging them, and then as soon as a thunderstorm arrives, throwing a channeling and loyalty trident at them so that they all become charge creepers. From there, once you have your charged creepers, you will then be sending them to the nether. Now, some of you are for sure going to be put off by the fact that we're using charged creepers in this build. However, trust me, you really do not need that many charged creepers, and they're also extremely easy to get as well. We're using a slight bug where for every Wither Skeleton that a charged creeper kills, they actually drop a Wither Skeleton skull. So for instance, if you kill 100 Wither Skeletons with that one charge creeper, you will get 100 Wither Skeleton skulls. It's really quite nice, so trust me, you won't need to be using this thing that often. And finally, we have the third area, and this is where everything combines and where you will actually be getting your Wither Skeleton skulls from. So this is where the charge creepers come out, and also where the Wither Skeletons from your Wither Boss Killer come out as well. Basically what you're going to be doing here is just combining the two. For every single charge creeper that you can have a whole giant kill chamber full of Wither Skeletons, and every time you blow up a charge creeper, you will get a ton of Wither Skeleton skulls. So to really kickstart this farm into action, you only need 9 Wither Skulls, because with those 9 Wither Skulls, you can summon 3 Wither Bosses, of course, and then those 3 Wither Bosses will summon 12 Wither Skeletons. You can kill those 12 Wither Skeletons and get enough skulls for another 4 Wither Bosses. It's basically exponential growth, and as long as you start this off with 9 skulls, you'll have a very simple time. Before we really hop into things, there's a couple things that you need to know about this video. This is more of a general tutorial, not a full perfect block by block tutorial, because a lot of this is just going to be specific to what world you are playing in. Now, that is fine because I'm going to be covering everything in enough detail that hopefully none of that is an issue. If you do have any issues, please do ask me questions down in the comments, always replying and trying to help you guys out as much as I can. Secondly, there's going to be a world download in the description of this video for any of you who are interested and want to pop on here and see exactly how I've done things. And also, because this farm is based on some bugs, you will want to check the pinned comment down below, because that is where I will be telling you if this farm is broken. Sometimes bugs get fixed on the Bedrock Edition, and this farm will eventually probably be broken, so I'll tell you down there when this farm is actually broken. So we're actually going to start the construction of our farm here in the Nether, and you want to find yourself a Nether fortress that is fairly far away from the Nether hub and whatever other builds you may have in the Nether, simply because we're going to be sending through a ton of Wither Skeletons and charge creepers, and you don't want these portals linking to anywhere else. So keep that in mind. You want to build this fairly far away from anything else in your Nether. The reason why we're building by a nether fortress is simply for an easy and infinite source of wither skeletons. In case you want to jumpstart this farm at any time, you don't need to mess with any wither bosses and the skeletons that they spawn. You can simply lure a few skeletons into the blast chamber and then blow them up with a charge creeper down here. So the three main portals that we have is for the charge creepers over here, for the wither skeletons from your wither killer, and the third portal is behind us, and this is the actual safe one that you can come through without getting blown up or sliced to death by a bunch of skeletons. Before you get your heart set on any particular nether fortress, make sure you build yourself a portal and actually go explore the overworld as well, because you're going to be summoning so many wither bosses and having a lot of charge creepers around as well. You want to make sure there's nothing in the overworld side that's going to get damaged or ruined or anything that you care about at the very least. And once you've actually explored the overworld, then you can go ahead and decide where you want your epicenter to be. I decided to make it off of one of these bridges here, just because that's a nice and easy way to get the wither skeletons directly into your blast chamber. You can make this epicenter pretty much anywhere surrounding your nether fortress. So this is the clean slate that you should have at this point in the video. 3 nether portals, all properly and perfectly linked to the overworld, and all about 20 or so blocks away in the nether. You want to make sure that all of these portals are fairly far apart in the nether, and that way they actually have some distance in between them in the overworld. So this is our people portal over there. Our wither portal is somewhere around here. It is over there, and our creeper portal is over there as well. So as you can see, when you're at any of these one areas, you're not going to be loading any of the other two, and that is perfect, because if a wither is on the loose over there and you're at your player portal, you're not going to be loading that area. It's going to be perfectly fine and perfectly safe. So we are now in the overworld side by the wither skeleton portal, of course, and this is at the very, very bottom of the world, right down by bedrock. You really want to make sure that you have this one down underground, just in case any withers do escape. Do not decorate any of this, and don't make this hole this big. You really don't need to put any effort into the side. But this nether portal is, of course, properly linked to the one that we have in the nether. We're going to be building everything down here out of obsidian, just to be safe, and just block off the backside of that. And the front here, you want to make a little 2x2 area right here, and then go off to the side just like so. And we're basically just going to be placing water in the corner to flush everything that way. Now you also want to replace all of this with obsidian and make sure that all of that is just fine. So we're going to build up all of this by 3 block walls. And then this is our very, very center block right here. You basically want to go 10 blocks above this. So 1, 2, and put down a marker block. This is going to be our marker block right here. You can then go ahead and remove those counting blocks. And basically what we want to do up here is make a 7x7 platform of obsidian. This is going to protect our nether portal and also our wither skeletons down below. Okay, so now that we have that 7x7 in place with our marker block still here in the center, we want to go ahead and remove that and basically just put a little tube going all the way down. This is going to guide our wither skeletons directly into this water stream and directly into our nether portal as well. And then you can fill in these side blocks as well. And now what we're going to do is actually build up the wither killing chamber. This is extremely simple. You want a solid block right above this hole right here. Make sure you leave all of this empty. So just a obsidian block right there, and then a little plus sign on top of that, an air gap, and then another plus sign on top of that as well. And then finally mark it off with 3 blocks along the top, or you could do basically a 2 block thick plus sign. You might as well, just to be extra safe. So now that you have all of this stuff in place, you want to pull out yourself a locator map and find out which icon is yours. Just by spinning around, you can see that that one right there is mine. And just make sure that your icon is facing towards the top of the map. That means that you're going to be facing north. And once we know which way is north, we automatically know that to our left is going to be west, which is perfect. You want to go to the west side of this little like tower thing, and that is perfect. Make sure that you are on the west side of this building. Otherwise, when you summon your withers, they are not going to be contained in that build and they are going to kill you. So you want to go off of this by 3 blocks, and then you want to make a little bit of a T shape on the end right here just like so. Very, very specific that all of this is exact. Otherwise, your withers will not summon in there. You can also go ahead and replace all of that with obsidian as well. And just to test this out, I will go ahead and spawn a wither in there, and you'll see that he'll summon in there just fine, and he'll also start to take suffocation damage. So of course, you shouldn't summon a wither in there right now, but I just did that for demonstration, just so that we can see that this thing is actually properly working. And that is basically all you need for your wither killer, besides a way up to this area right here, where you will be summoning your wither in this exact position, just like so. You will also need a way down to this area, because this is exactly where all of your nether stars will be dropping, so you'll need a way to collect those. And you'll also want a little bit of a safety room, maybe boxed in obsidian. And also, I really want to drive the point home that you do not want to unload these chunks or leave the game or let the game crash or anything like that, as there is a wither being killed in here. If you do any of those things while a wither is captured in here, it will escape and you will have to die. So that is the wither killing area completely set up. From there, we're going to move on to the creeper conversion and collection area. So moving through the portal, we are now at a different location, of course, and this is pretty much all we need. This is actually extremely simple stuff, and it's all very, very basic. It's basically just 4 little things all tied together. So let's run through it. This first system is basically just where you will be collecting your creepers. I would suggest having a nice, large, dark area out in front of here so that anything that spawns on the surface can just kind of follow you. You can lead it up these stairs, hop across the trapdoors, and it will just kind of fall right in there. And then once you have a creeper in there, it's just going to bounce up and down right here. You can hit it with a name tag and then flick that lever. It'll then go ahead and maybe bounce into the bubble column. Sometimes they're stubborn, but you can always punch them once or twice. They'll go up and over and then into your main holding cell. And that is pretty much it. Once you have about 20 or so creepers in there, you can then go ahead and start waiting for a thunderstorm. And honestly, you don't even need that many charged creepers. So once it is a thunderstorm, get yourself a channeling trident, hit that guy, and that will convert all of them at one time, of course. And then once you have yourselves a full pin of charged creepers, flick the lever, and they will go ahead and bounce on through to the nether side. There's not really much here to do a tutorial on. I think it's all extremely basic. If you have more questions, you can ask me down below, or you can simply pause and rewind the video, or you can check out the world download. There's many, many options, but that's kind of a close look at that area right there. That block above the fence gate is, of course, a stair, and the redstone for this lower area is simply an observer powering that dispenser with a water bucket, and that redstone line just powers these pistons. So now that you know what you need to do in the creeper side overworld, we're going to start actually working in the nether side now. And we're going to start with the creeper containment area for your charged creepers. Starting off with your nether portal being 4 blocks off the ground. Of course, all of these need to be 4 blocks off the ground, or you're just going to have stuff underground. That's quite fine as well. But behind your portal, you're going to want to have 2 dispensers just full of snowballs. So this is because sometimes your charged creepers get stuck in the portal here and don't want to move out. So you can flick these levers and just kind of shoot some snowballs, and that will knock them right out of the portal. We're then going to go ahead and completely surround this in blocks. I'm just going to go ahead and use glass so that we can actually see what we're doing. However, you can use whatever you want. If you want to make this thing completely blast proof using obsidian, you can, but the way that we're going to build it basically makes it so that no creepers will ever explode because they'll never be able to see you. But that is basically what you want to do there with 2 trapdoors on the front there, and then just cap that off with blocks above. So now we're going to go on the ground in front of your portal and right underneath it to the right side. We're just going to go ahead and put down a hay bale on the ground. That's going to prevent some of the fall damage from your creepers. And then we're going to go up by a block over here and put down another hay bale, again, to prevent some of the fall damage to your creepers. You don't want those guys dying. They are kind of hard to get after all. But now we're going to run a couple pieces of redstone dust into a piston right there. And that's going to push all of your creepers into this one block. And then what you can do is just go ahead and completely surround all of this with your block of choice. And now we're going to install the rail system to get the charged creepers out of that area one at a time by placing down a dispenser on the front facing towards your wither skeleton portal. You can put a button on that and some additional storage up to the side if you like, just for your mine carts. But now you want a powered rail right there, going into a normal rail, and then go up by a couple of blocks just like so. And then basically just have 3 normal rail churning into a powered rail, and power those however you like. Whenever you press this button, it's basically going to allow you to get 1 charge creeper in that minecart, and because there's an entity in that minecart, it will actually have enough momentum to get up this hill and go on into your blast chamber, as you can see. The great thing about this little system is that if there's nothing in your minecart, it's just gonna keep on bouncing forever until it actually picks up something. Real quick, one more thing that you need to add to your containment chamber right here is just a couple of pistons. One right here on the side, and another one right here underneath your hay bale. Basically what this will allow you to do is push them to the front right there, and also push them to the side as well, properly aligning them so that they can be picked up by your minecart, so that anytime you press this button, you will always get a charge creeper every single time, which is pretty lovely. We're now going to move on to doing our blast chamber, and you're gonna need a fair amount of obsidian for this. So we're going to start off simple with a couple of iron trapdoors at the base of your portal. Go ahead and flip around to the back side and just power those blocks with some levers. That'll flick them down. You then want a 1 block gap and then some wooden trapdoors on the opposite side. These are all going to be at the same level, of course. Skip 2 blocks and then have more trapdoors right here. And that's basically going to allow all of your wither skeletons to fall right on down into your blast chamber, which is lovely. Now, for the tutorial, because obsidian blends together really well and is very hard to count, I'm going to build this blast chamber here out of iron blocks. But you in survival, you need to build this out of obsidian. I'm just building it out of iron blocks so that you guys can actually count everything and that we can all see what we're doing. But you need to build all of this out of obsidian. Every single iron block should be a block of obsidian. Hopefully that all makes sense. I think it's for the greater good. So we're going to need basically a 2x2 area of obsidian right here, but with a couple of cobblestone walls. These will usually get destroyed as the creeper detonates. We also need obsidian down below that, and we're basically just going to build up a couple walls of obsidian on either side, just like so. Another wall right here with a block gap beneath it. So this block right here in front of this cobblestone wall is actually where your creeper is going to be sitting when you detonate it. And we need 3 block tall obsidian walls basically all the way around this thing. And you can just connect those up just like so. And we also need more obsidian right here. We're actually going to go ahead and reinforce all of this with an additional layer of obsidian because they can really destroy a lot even with a single layer of obsidian around everything. And then we're going to go ahead and make a little too high safety wall out of obsidian right here as well. This will be what you hide behind as you actually detonate that creeper. So then we need to go ahead and just put some extra obsidian underneath that right there. And just go ahead and put a little bit of an extra skirt around all of this here as well. So now you want to drop down into your blast chamber on this block right here and place down 2 more blocks on the ceiling and make sure that everything in this area is 2 blocks tall, of course, and that you can't move out. And that is pretty much all you need to do on the inside there. And now what we need to do is also replace the blocks that the rail is on over here with obsidian, because I just remembered, even with all of this protection in place, these blocks can still get blown out. So again, all of this needs to be obsidian, and then we're basically going to drag this rail line is straight into our blast chamber. So again, normal rail right there, a powered rail right there. We're going to power that from the other side, and then just normal rail going up, a powered rail right there, and end on a normal rail. And that is pretty much all there is to it. What I would suggest doing is just going ahead and securing the rest of this with obsidian as well. And what you can do from here on out is actually just make the rest of this wall out of glass. That way you can kind of see your charge creeper get taken up into the kill chamber, as that is really kind of cool. And that is pretty much it. As long as you can't see any of those rail lines directly, you will be perfectly safe from that creeper. Now you need to do is go ahead and replace this floor area with just basically a giant pad of obsidian as well, because of course your floor is going to get blown up if it's not obsidian. So I went ahead and replaced everything with obsidian, of course, added some stairs in the front and added a little platform on the back as well and around the back side of the portal. And it looks very, very secure, but extremely hard to see what exactly is going on. So that is why I built everything out of iron blocks to begin with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to finish up this top area of the portal, and just by adding a couple more of obsidian right there, one obsidian there, one right there, and then a lower wooden trapdoor just like so. You also want to go ahead and just fill in that little wall of obsidian and just bring that out like so. And what this basically allows you to do is grab some wither skeletons from your fortress, allow them to follow you up these stairs, and then they will just kind of walk in here past that trapdoor and fall right into your blast chamber. Anytime that you're sending through wither skeletons from your actual wither killer, you want to make sure that that trapdoor is down. That way there is no hope of them ever escaping. Slight correction, you want the trapdoor right here to actually be facing off of that one so that when it's down, it is actually to the side like that. That will prevent any wither skeletons from your portal escaping, and when it is actually flat like that, it will allow the wither skeletons to walk in here. So now that you know exactly how to build this entire system, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use it and how to jumpstart this system as well with 0 charge creepers and 0 wither skeleton skulls to start out with. So since we're next to a wither skeleton nether fortress, we're going to go ahead and just slowly but surely drag 9 wither skeletons into this blast chamber. It's very important that you have at least 9 wither skeletons to begin with. We're going to flip up those trapdoors and just get that guy in there. As you can see, pretty simple process, honestly pretty safe, but just prepare to die with this because you are transporting these dangerous mobs, and you are also in the nether, and there's lava everywhere. Just prepare to die. However, the way that I've set it up is actually pretty safe, and it doesn't really take that many skills to do this either. So we now have about 11 wither skeletons in this chamber right here, so let's go ahead and get ourselves some charge creepers, shall we? So for the amount of creepers that we need, it honestly is best just to have a nice big open hunting area. You can kill everything not a creeper to promote more creeper spawns, and any creepers that do spawn, you can just lure into your trap right here, and that is pretty much it. As long as there's no thunderstorm, just collect as many creepers as you can, and that way once you do get a thunderstorm, you can convert like 20 or 30 at one time and just get the most out of your thunderstorm that you possibly can. So if there's any area that's going to get blown up, it's definitely going to be this one right here. So maybe you'll want to make that out of obsidian as well if you're not, fluent in handling mobs in this kind of situation. But once you have creepers down in this area, you can just hit them with some name tags in a pretty simple and easy way. Flick the lever to allow one through at a time and just keep on hitting them with name tags. And this guy needs a name tag as well. We can let all of those guys go through. And if they get stuck a little bit, we can throw a snowball at them. So now that it is officially thundering out, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and throw that channeling trident in there, and that hit all 3 of those guys at one time, which is lovely. Go ahead and flick that lever. All of these guys are going to get pushed on through to the nether. So now that we've sent our charge creepers through to the nether, they are now kind of stuck in the portal, which is the exact reason we have these snowball dispensers. That's just going to knock all of them right on out and pretty much directly down into the little drop chute there. As you can see, the piston will push them over, and they are ready to collect into a minecart, which is pretty lovely. And then they will just drop right down into our kill chamber. It's also time for the funnest part of this build, and that is actually detonating subscribes. We're just going to light them on fire and then basically hide behind that wall, and everything is going to get annihilated. But there is the rest of our loot, and as you can see, we got 12 wither skeleton skulls for having 12 wither skeletons in our blast chamber. And we also got all these other wonderful loots as well. So now we can actually go summon 4 wither bosses, and each one of those wither bosses will give us an additional 4 wither skeletons, which means that we will end up with 16 skulls from these 12 skulls. This process is honestly quite amazing. So let's go ahead and spawn ourselves some withers, shall we? We're just going to do this in pretty much the simplest way possible. Try and spam as many of them in there as I can real quick, and it looks like I actually got all 4. Run! He's about to explode. Yeah, there he goes. So this does take a while. I'm basically just going to time lapse this. And there we go. We can now hop up there and collect our nether stars. And as you can see, that was extremely simple. Also, these 16 wither skeletons that they all summoned have now been taken to the nether, and we can go detonate all those guys and get ourselves 16 wither skulls So it looks like all of our deadly wither skeletons made it through just fine, which is lovely. And we also have ourselves another charged creeper down here. We can go ahead and blast that guy and let all of them get blown up and just collect all of the skulls. We even got our minecart back as well. And as you can see, we got ourselves 16 wither skulls from summoning 4 withers, meaning that we gained more wither skulls than we put into this system, which is rather lovely. And now what we can do is we can use these skulls to summon more withers, get more wither skeletons, and get even more skulls. It's just exponential growth. The more skulls you have, the more skulls you get. And it's honestly a pretty fantastic, very simple, and very, very cheap little system. And that is going to do it for this Bedrock Edition tutorial. I hope you all get a ton of use out of this beacon factory. This is something that I actually just kind of built on truly Bedrock and wanted to do a proper tutorial and a proper design for. So hopefully you all enjoy this tutorial. I'm definitely going to be building this on truly Bedrock as well. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do let me know down in that comment section, as I will be trying to help you out as much as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, share this around with your friends, and I will see you all down in that comment section and in the next video. Thank you again for watching. And then there was silence.